Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Tanya with Adventures for Connection. Don't mind the bit of smoke. We've got mosquitoes here, so we've got some copal burning. Today we have Thomas with us. Thomas, how are you?
Doing wonderful. Glad to be here.
Yeah, super grateful you're here. We've definitely, well, we're still in Mexico, everyone. We're in Tulum right now, which is super beautiful. And today was the hottest day. So today we definitely spent some time. There's a cenote here, which is a natural pool of water. And so that was really good to hang out in there today and just stay a little bit cooler. And yeah, doing well, enjoying life. And how are things in your part of the world? Tell us where you are and what you've been
I'm
up
in
to these
Atlanta,
days.
Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. Just been seeing clients, teaching classes, been on TikTok, Facebook, podcast I got going on now. The Psychic Kitchen on Spotify.
Beautiful. And you do have a channel here on Rumble now?
Yes, thomassawyer.com.
Under his name, so you guys can find him. Absolutely. Hello, Tango. How are you? Yes, hello, CMW63. I'm Bob. 5D Gaia, beautiful. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah, and beautiful. Yes, and grateful that Thomas is back on Rumble. Cured by Canna says hello. Byra Q, Luna, beautiful. Chris, good to see you guys. Yeah, really good. Hi, Cindy over there on Facebook. We got a few more people that aren't chatting, so that's okay. Norma, how are you doing?
Oh, spectacular. It's been a quite eventful time since we've arrived here in Tulum. The energies are definitely, different from San Crisanto, of course, because this is more of a Mecca place than San Crisanto is at the moment. But as Progresso, that's just right up the road, 20-30 minutes up the road, is beginning to build, and it may eventually become a Mecca as well. But there's been like a couple of days of just such clarity for me in my understanding and in continuation of just gathering information that brings about continuing the tapping of the knowledge that's within me already. So
beautiful. We're so grateful that Thomas is here with us. Very excited and really wanted to tap in. So we get a few things on the agenda today that have been coming up from various chats and communication around brain health, everything from having concussions and then healing from the concussion, what can be done energetically, what can be done to take physically, mentally. And the other one is Alzheimer's or dementia has come up quite a bit. Similar again, it's that brain health thing and people realizing they're not at the same potential that they were and they really want to be able to tap into more of it. Thomas, do you work with people like this as well?
Yeah, I do energetic work on people's brains, their bodies, auric fields, etc.
Yeah, beautiful. And so maybe today what we could do is a bit of a group healing for everyone, you and I together, and Norma Jean as well. Yeah, just to give them that love and support that everyone needs right now. It is February, February 4th. I've definitely been feeling like there's a little more incoming energies for some of us. I've been getting that it's like upgrades. So we're always getting this whatever you're willing to accept, so to speak. And I'm sure nobody gets more than they can actually handle, although integrating can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. Have you been feeling this as well, Thomas?
Yeah, it's been really loopy the past few weeks. Lots of energies coming in. Really, really loopy. So it can be a little hard to navigate sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the tips and tricks that you recommend? Not tricks, I guess, but recommendations that you have for people to keep themselves grounded and be able to absorb, transmute, alchemize these energies?
Well, one thing I keep getting is like just a simple trick of grounding. So, I mean, it's scientifically proven there's negative ions in the earth. So when you walk on the ground, they will transfer into your body. Like people need to be getting outside. A lot of people are just shut in their houses right now. They got to get outside. You got to get into nature. You got to, there's energy in nature that you absorb into your field. So it'll automatically ground you. A lot of the lives I do and stuff on different apps are outside. It's been a bit colder, but I still try to do them because it just grounds me. So getting out there helped clear out my field, ground me. Even if I go to a sauna, I haven't been able to lift weights because I hurt my wrist, but I'm still doing martial arts. But even getting into a sauna, just sweating out impurities or detoxifying.
Yeah,
This was really
absolutely. Norma, what do you recommend to help move through the energies?
You know me, I'm all over the place. There are times that you have to help me stay grounded. Yeah, I feel that what I'm coming into is that a lot of just, I'm making sure that I'm taking in enough water during the day. Ensuring that, even with these energies that are taking place, I'm coming to recognize and realize that actually I'm more present here lately these days. It's definitely good to get into, water if you're in a place that you are able to do that or have a way to do that. Water is definitely very much a grounder for me because of being a fire sign. That's just my opposite. That helping to bring me back into more of the connection with my vessel. So it's like today when I woke up, I was like feeling so good, free, just feeling just energetic in everything like that. I got in the water, became grounded, and even in that, was able to begin to pick up on a lot of what's taking place out here, as far as the energies are concerned, because it can also put me in that place where when I get grounded, it helps me to be more in touch with what my body is or what my vessel is telling me. It's telling me, oh, this is what's going on, and it depends on what hemisphere I'm collecting that information from. So I'm doing pretty good on that level. I would say probably you and Thomas maybe a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. I always recommend breathing in the morning, welcoming, hey body, how you doing today? Thank you. I did a nice deep breath last night, and let's make it a beautiful day. I will run white light through my body. I will run my chakras and expand them out just to get everything connected and running, and definitely grounding outside. I also really love hanging out with trees. So the good way to hang out with the trees, touch the trees if you can't physically. There's snow on the ground and you can't really run around barefoot. So that's certainly helpful. And Thomas is right. There's a reason that trees give off carbon dioxide and we breathe it out, right? And they give off oxygen. It's this beautiful exchange that's going on energetically. And to remember too that ether is everywhere, air is everywhere, and that just by toning the body, singing in nature, doing the vowels out loud can help to shift your energy. Moving your body, walking you're alchemizing energy when you do that. Whenever somebody hits a stress point, it's really good to just go for that walk, right? So there's quite a bit you can do. Receiving tingles in my crown area. Yeah. Mine's always on fire. I always know how much energetically is going on, especially when I wake up first thing in the morning and it's already going. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah, it'll be a strong one. So lots of people getting goosebumps, truth bumps. Yeah, tell us in the chat, you guys, what do you do to manage your energy? What are some of the things that you do? Celtic salt's another good one. It's coming to mind. Yeah. And don't forget to please like it, share it. If it resonates, that would be fantastic. We often forget to mention this. And hello. Hi, Kelly. Beautiful. Yeah, so good to see you guys here. I've been barefoot my whole life. Only wear shoes when I leave the house, and my two grandsons are the same way. Beautiful.
Good.
Yeah. When Robert says, when I lay down, I hear Morse code thing going on. What do you know about that one, Thomas?
Well, a lot of times the universe everyone's different. So sometimes you're going to see things different ways. I'm being reminded of something. So one time, it's years and years ago when I first started into this journey, but I would be looking at trees and I would start seeing what looked like matrix lines going through them and things of this nature. And I've been seeing that a little bit more lately. It's like you're switching into different dimensions and then trying to navigate what that information is, which is it's subjective to each individual.
Absolutely. No two people, because our frequencies are so individual, we all get to read it differently. Norma, you want to share with Thomas what you see in the trees, or we're seeing in the trees for some time?
This comes down to a lot about understanding elements as well. So when you come to understand elements like air, let's just utilize air here as the element that we will touch upon, because we don't only take in air. The trees provide the air. So when we're talking about, oxygen, and then we're talking about carbon, it's amazing that whenever you come to understand that the relation there between a tree and the human is the exact same, just viewed differently through the lens of the projection. And so when we come to understand that even though we're having this exchange, when you get to the chance and opportunity to see things the way that I do, and you see that the trees are your ancestors, literally, when you're able to really understand that, then what's happening is you take that element air and you understand it even more in depth. By understanding that, with that exchange, you're being given information.
Beautiful.
A lot of times I'll actually go out and talk to the trees. They have a lot of information. Remember, Edgar Casey once said that he bet a man if he could talk to a tree. And he said, if you sit there for 2 days or for 24 hours, you'll talk to that tree. You got to sit at the tree. And about 24 hours or 2 days later, the tree started talking to him. The guy freaked out and ran off.
It's about focus, about intent. And if you can hold that focus, you'll be amazed that that focus will give you something different to see and to experience. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And I find trees, I'm just getting now that trees also have a different vibration than us. So it takes that time to attune with them, to create that connection with them. And you're right. You think about how a tree grows, the fact that it moves its leaves to take in, bring water up the roots. Like, it's much slower than we are as far as movement. So it makes sense that it would take a bit of time to connect that way. Yeah.
Oh, and the rings. Oh, yeah.
And the tree rings. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Sunshine Tribe says, I have a few trees I know the names of. Beautiful. Absolutely. Awesome. I'm just going through some of the comments. Nice bike ride in the woods today. Energies are weird lately. I'm cold natured, so barefoot grounding is not happening these days. I have to exercise a lot for 63 years young. Beautiful. Yeah. Tango. I am too, but just remembered I have my tinfoil hat on and receiving a lot of static. That's true. Barefooted, talking to my indoor plants, resting with fur babies. Yes, pets. Pets are a beautiful way of keeping you present, which is really what you're doing as you're grounding. You're just becoming more present in the body, present in the space that you're in, which is really the only way to operate. Salt water calms my energies. Yeah, salt water is beautiful. It's grounding and cleansing at the same time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Michelle says, and the trees on the property where we live, Tanya, are pretty amazing. They are. There's that one in front of your place across the creek that is just phenomenal. I constantly say hello to it. And the one outside my front door. Absolutely. Yeah, they're all along the one side of the property. It used to be an orchard, and they had living Christmas trees. And the one east side of the property is all their Christmas trees. And you can see they're perfect trees. It's quite phenomenal. Absolutely. Awesome. All right, you guys. So let's get into some questions. What would you like us to chat about tonight? What would you like some support on? I think we're going to do a bit of a healing around brains and frequencies for those listening. I know some of you on here have had some brain issues, and so would love to just be able to do a little bit of a group and give you that. In the meantime, keep chatting and let us know what else we can work on. Thomas, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Just want you guys to breathe nice and slowly. You can close your eyes and just take this in. Imagine this energy, this positive, beautiful, healing energy entering every single cell, especially your brain, and wrapping your brain in love. You can even put your hands on your head right? If you put your hands out like this and say, activate me, please, and then you just put them on your head. You could also do tapping. It's a little activation for you, something you can do while we do this. And yeah, we can talk about tinnitus as well, 100%. Yeah, so you're ringing quite often. Go ahead, Thomas.
I'm going to tap. I'm seeing a lot of brains, so I'm going to tap into the brain tissue.
Okay.
People are going to feel a lot of heat going through their head, their crown chakra, their third eye area.
Just keep breathing, accepting. Can also help with anxiety. It's a chance for you guys just relax and take it in. Getting hot yet, Norma?
This holding space thing is.
Yep. And I always recommend body dosing for any supplements you would like to take regarding the brain. Methylene blue. Go through the cordyceps, reishi, chaga mushrooms. Some of those mushrooms you can look up for other herbs for brain health, and I'll make a list and do a post after this. And then you need to body dose to see what resonates for you.
I've been taking L-theanine, L-tyrosine, like amino acids.
Yep.
It's been helping quite a bit.
Yeah, those of us doing energy work need to be even more aware of what we need to do to manage ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be dipping into some salt right after this. And Cured by Cannabis, we will answer that question for you. Yeah, just let us finish this one up.
You just let me know when you're complete. I'm going to send in some angels. Metatron to them. Michael, Raphael, Sophia.
Sending in the elementals. So remember, when you're out in nature and you're observing the birds, the trees, the plants, the insects, the butterflies, they're all there to support you as well. Today it was dragonflies. I love dragonflies. We had them landing on us today. It was very cool. Yeah, I'm good now, Thomas.
Okay.
Whew.
Disconnect.
Yeah. All right. Cured by Cannabis. I've been struggling for years now with a self-destruction problem where I pick my face. Yeah, that's a pretty common one. It's like a stress response to things that are out of your control. And if you can redirect. Do you get anything, Thomas, for what might be triggering that specifically for her?
A lot of things come down to the subconscious. When we're looking at spirituality, we have one aspect. You have the body, spiritual, mental, emotional, but you also have the subconscious in there, spirits in the middle. But in the mind area, not enough people teach this, but like subconscious work's so important. And there's so many, Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, you can find books on YouTube. There's all kinds of resources. I mean, Tony Robbins employs a lot of this stuff. All these people do. But the subconscious is running 90% of the show in your brain. 10% of your mind's conscious. So it's almost like the conscious mind's the driver, the subconscious is running everything else. And you don't even know what's going on in there until you start looking at. I mean, it could literally, what I'm getting is it literally be a problem from childhood, like the age of like 7 to 10. And then that's moving into his awareness, like it's still on some way dictating that behavioral pattern.
Yeah.
Some locked in trauma or emotion that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I almost think it's can be ancestral as well. So if it's running in the family, it's one of those like DNA program things. It was definitely strong in my family, my dad, right? And it's important to remember that you are the circuit breaker. And Thomas is right. So if your brain's a CPU, your subconscious is the running program. And that's why I always say you're not the one speaking, you're not the one thinking, you're the one observing. So really observe what happens in those when you're triggered that way. What was the event that led to that right then? And see if you can pinpoint it that way and then be able to do some reprogramming. But I did a program, Freedom from Self-Sabotage, which is all about subconscious reprogramming. So the affirmations, the writing things out. It's really good if you can get really specific for each, but there's definitely, you can break this. It's absolutely possible. And I'm just checking. I have constant chest anxiety. This is new to me. I've tried to alleviate it to no avail. It doesn't come and go. Any suggestions, please, and thank you. And that's from April's to Angel over on Rumble. Can you put your hand on your chest and say, even though I don't understand you right now, I love you. And then I want you to breathe love into it. Deep breaths, because you have more hairs on the bottom of your lungs than the top. And you'll flood your body with oxygen, which generally should calm it down. But some of these energies coming in right now, you're being activated. That's what I'm getting. You're just being activated. But breathing into it that way will help bring your awareness to it, which will help to accept and allow, so to speak. Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's also understanding that as these energies move in, the body isn't quite prepared for these energies in the influx that they're coming in at. So the body's response to this is the only thing it knows and what it remembers. And a lot of times when we would feel these, any type, it's misinterpreting because of that subconscious. There's a misinterpretation that the body is responding to these influx of energies that are so much higher than what the body is used to. It's misinterpreting, thinking that, oh, this is a fight or flight situation. So as you do that, the greatest thing for you to do is to always show love to your body, to the vessel. And the way to do that is to always place your hand upon yourself. Because then what you do is you get out of your subconscious and go conscious and bring yourself to an awareness state of the present, because then you're redirecting that thought so that way you don't create a synapsis that will take possibly longer to undo. Catch yourself as it's happening so that you can begin to, if there is a synapsis, which is just a connection of the brain that makes a memory, then you can take, as you change that with an action to override a misinterpreted thought or misguided thought by the subconscious, then what you're doing is you're just redirecting and teaching the mind, the brain, to create a new synapsis of that experience or of what's taking place. And the way to do that is to always redirect by bringing a hand to the chest.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, April, go ahead, Thomas.
Sorry.
Nope.
I think sometimes it's important to ask your body what's going on, because your body has consciousness. So when you start to ask, why am I feeling this way? What do I need to look at? What do I need to work on? What do I need to change within myself? a lot of times is sitting there. We live in this society now. I say this a lot on lives where everything's becoming electronic, and people are like getting ADHD. But if they really sit and like with themselves and start asking those important questions, why is this happening? But the thing is, a lot of people like, I can't meditate. I'm not of that belief system. I'm sorry, because nothing's impossible. Like nothing is impossible. And it's me being a bit more direct, but at the same time, it's like you can sit down, and I can do it too. And it's hard for me sometimes, but I can sit down in the dark and just sit there for an hour and start asking myself questions or breathing or whatever it is to get myself centered.
Centered. Yeah, we have a bit of a thing going on around the centering, because that's, whenever something's out of alignment, you're off center. You're out of balance. So it's best if you guys learn how to do this for yourself to bring yourself back to center. So that's what I say. I used to go hiking for like an hour to clear myself. Now I can just take a few deep breaths and I'm good. Right. So I've gone from somebody that had to move a lot and almost aggressive processing, so to speak, mountain biking. I did all the extreme sports because it was a form of active meditation for me. And now I'm able to do that again in a much quieter spot. And it's quite incredible to know who I was and how I operated to being who I am now. And so this is what I wish for everyone, to learn the skills and the tools to be able to do that. And you're right, Thomas, even if you think you can't, you can.
Right. And that comes down to understanding that. I've spoke to this Sunday that when that is beginning to come on, the first thing to do is like Thomas said, ask what's going on, but be the observer. Have no judgment in what it is you receive. Understand that you're just being given what the body is being asked of. And in understanding that as long as you're the observer and you don't absorb what the information is that you're being given, and you step out of that judgment, you get back to center quicker.
Yeah. And so if you can imagine, being that observer means not reacting. So, right? Controlling my emotions and reactions. I'm just now exploring my spiritual self since breaking away from the Christian dogma. Want to feel real peace. And you will. You will. It will come in fits and starts to begin with. And the biggest thing to remember, that religion is about following something outside of yourself. Spirituality is about inward. It's about oneness, that we're all connected, that we're all equal no matter what. And that one does not need to seek outside of themselves for all the answers anymore. You can really seek inside. And that's sort of what things are coming into at the moment, is trusting yourself, trusting you first. Because I can't tell you what you're feeling in your body. Only you can tell you what you're feeling. Somebody else was mentioning about the third eye. Yeah, lots of activations going on in the third eye. Lots of vibrations, maybe even a little bit of pain, right? You can just keep imagining running white light there. Absolutely.
One thing I wanted to throw in there. So I was at an event yesterday with my friend Carlos. He had an NDE. He died in the ocean. A dolphin saved him. It's a big, long story. But essentially, when he had the vision of when he went to the other side, he went to heaven, because I feel like this applies to her question. And he was talking to Jesus and the angels, and he didn't want to go back. But Jesus is like, you have to go back. Well, he's like, I have one question for you. Are you the only way into heaven? And he goes, no, there's a million different pathways.
Beautiful. And so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes when we believe there's only one way, we almost put blinders on and blindly follow one way, putting ourselves further off a center, because now we're going too far that way. So it's always good. And what you'll find is you start to question everything. And before you react, I always say, even if you have to bite your tongue, to just stop and breathe for a few minutes and try and respond instead. So instead of reacting, wait and respond. It's a really good tool that has certainly helped me, because I used to be the loudest person in the room, and my opinion was always my opinion. I still speak my truth, but I'm much quieter now. I can sit in a room and I can just sit there and observe everyone and listen, because that is telling me so much more than the words coming out of their mouth, is how they're behaving and how they're responding. And when you start to do that, you'll start to read energy in a whole new way as well. Yeah. Yeah. Little head tickle right now. Yeah. Cramping in the third eye. Absolutely. Yeah. As we are having energy come in the excess needs to be moving up and out, causes imbalance comfortably within vessel, making room for incoming abundance. And it's that's a good point too. It's letting go. Like you can change any of your beliefs that you choose to change. You can change your habits and patterns. And so I'm getting for the picking on the face, start tapping instead. So instead of, right, do the opposite, which is loving. Oh, I love myself, even though I've done this my entire life and I don't know why. I'm going to stop now, right? Even though my third eye is, really active right now, I accept and allow, and then move your consciousness here instead. Because as soon as it aches, everyone wants to go up to the third eye because that's where the energies are. But try and tap and bring it back down to your higher heart. And that should help, because once you bring your attention here, it takes some of the energy away from there. Thomas, do you have something you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are more concentrated spiritually on their path on their third eye and their crown chakra. But you really got to look at these other chakras, like your heart chakra related to love, like your solar plexus related to your sense of who you are, your sacral related to your emotion. And then with your root chakra, it's more related to your survival, grounding, all these other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was, sorry that you didn't get to read that one. I have issues not reacting, especially with my parents, because it's a defense mechanism I've had since I was little. But only you can change it. You can't be responsible for how somebody else is treating you, except you can put up some boundaries, and the strongest way to put up a boundary is walk away, right? Or I don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me right now, and I'm just going to leave for now. And when you're ready to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But when you're reacting, now you're feeling each other, and then it gets out of control real quick.
And then
I
you
think
get to
the
a point
hardest
where you're
lesson is, sorry, Norma, the
about
hardest
that.
lesson is forgiveness. It's like just forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like, you got to forgive. I mean, it clears the energy. I mean, I'm a masculine, so I love masculine energy, but it's a hard one to go through. But if you can do it,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it takes practice, and you won't be perfect. Yeah.
You understand? It's a looping, because then you go back to that loop of the response of the energy that you're used to being in that situation, which is, instead of talking to one another, you're talking at one another, because everyone's wanting to be heard, yet nobody's listening to hear.
Just to respond.
Right. So when it comes to that, the greatest response is to, as T says, set that boundary, walk away, or speak to it by way of, this is not working. We're not here. We're not changing the situation because none of us are talking to one another. So in that is to understand that each of us must understand how to listen to hear. And that is something that can be challenging, because for so long we, being in a society, was taught never to talk about our feelings to begin with. And then in that lack, we forget how to be able to do that for ourselves, much less another. So a lot of that is coming back. And when we do have those conversations, it's one of those, it's not about directing what someone is doing. It's about directing how you feel in what they're being, in understanding that I feel this way, that way, due to my response to this response or reaction you have with me. So it's about understanding how to listen to hear. And not everyone is going to be able to do that, but you can. And you can be the one to set that tone. And it may take time. Be patient, stick with it. Know that if you have the belief enough in yourself that you're willing to put forth that effort for self first to be heard, then it's something that, as you go along, you'll begin to recognize how to be able to shift that energy during that time and process of that situation, where it begins to change little by little over time, where it can come to that place where everyone's willing to listen to hear. And that is what promotes change.
Yeah. When you listen to somebody and you listen to hear, what happens is your hearts connect. When somebody feels heard, your hearts are operating from your heart. Somebody was just mentioning in the comments, if you expand your heart and you're willing to operate from there, no matter what is in front of you, whatever's playing out, whatever's happening, and it's like, wow, I'm really feeling for this right now. So let me just listen and ask some questions. And because you don't know their beliefs, you don't know what happened to them when they were younger. These things all build up and create who we are and how we respond on that subconscious programming again, right? So it's good to remember that. Yeah. Darlene, I feel there's something not quite right going on with my stomach. Would the 72-hour nothing but water cleanse help me reset the gut? Is a lot of us having gut issues? I think a lot of people, have you ever done a parasite cleanse? There's something called neem oil I'm getting for you that would be beneficial. What are you picking up on there, Thomas?
So when I'm looking at it, I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a blockage I'm also a medical intuitive. So it's a little bit of a blockage. It's not severe, but I saw the question earlier and I already tapped into it.
Yeah.
It would be beneficial. It would help. There are some other, I'm channeling a bit. There are some other things that can help with that. Looking at the diet, what you're ingesting, lots of water, because almost even if you're 2% dehydrated, your brain's not going to function at the optimal levels, but your body's not going to function either, which is much more important. Also, they're saying the quality of the water that you're getting would be very important for you as well. Like I use this reverse gravity filter, this Pro one. I mean, thing's magic. But I've noticed I can't even drink normal water anymore. Like I'll go insane. If you give me normal water, I can't even drink it. But it helps clear me out so much. And then I have minerals and stuff of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have going to basics. It would be, yes, you could do a fast as long as you can. I'm going to tell you though, if you do have parasites, that will be more challenging. So, yeah. And so there's good parasites and bad parasites, but the neem oil is a nice one because it's not that, not that strong, to take, unlike the turpentine I tend to use. So we all have our own modality. There's things like wormwood. It's good to tap in and do a body dose to see what your body needs. Thomas?
Yeah, I don't know why they're bringing this up, but they don't usually bring up crystals with me anymore to wear for certain people. But they're saying aventurine for some reason. You'd have to look up the metaphysical properties of what aventurine does, but it's adventure, INE. So it's this aventurine. It's a green crystal. Everyone has it at metaphysical shops. I'm sure Amazon has it, but they're saying that it'd be helpful for.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Wonderful. Let us know how it goes, though. We'd love to hear back. Absolutely. Did forgiveness exercises with my higher self and others. It helped a lot. Absolutely. Ho'oponopono prayer. It's about also forgiving yourself for anything that you feel you've done wrong, so you're not letting that spin constantly in your head that you're not good enough. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Shelley. How are you? Beautiful. What other questions have we got over here? Ate a potato last week and I felt poisoned. Down for 3 days. Oh, interesting.
Potato is not ripe, is what they're saying.
Potato is not ripe.
Not ripe.
A green potato. Yeah, that could do you. Absolutely. Oh, okay. Thank you, Shelley. Pardoso, that's the parasite cleanse for parasites. Has helped me a lot. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, you're welcome, Darlene. And fasting. So just to let everyone know again, water fasting or having it with fresh ginger or turmeric. You guys have all seen my drink, which I haven't been having here. I've been having water. Can really be beneficial because at 72 hours, your cells start to really kick out anything old. It's like, oh, We don't have to digest anything. Oh, we got other things to do. Let's go. Your body just starts to work on things, start to eat the fat cells, especially around the waist area. You'll just start to feel, I feel like I'm on a high. I get like a very vibrant high going with it. Thomas, do you fast?
Yeah, I've actually done 7 days, which was quite a challenge at one time. But when I would do 2 or 3 days, I would be, I just remember this back in my 20s, but I would be having 3 lines of thought at one time and I could actually decipher them.
Wow.
Because I had a liver, my liver was hurting when I was 26. And the message I got, and I wasn't all into all this at the time, but I had these gifts. And I just heard, you need to fast for 3 days. Like I couldn't take an aspirin, I couldn't take anything without it hurting. Within 3 days, my liver was healed.
Beautiful. Yeah, that goes to show. And in fact, every 7 years, the entire body regenerates. You're actually a new person. And that's why a lot of people have, I know I can see my 7-year cycles, right? As I look back and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is again. It's quite fascinating how that can happen. And people do, you can change. So never believe that you can't change, people. You can. You're changing every single day.
It's a natural reset.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I did 5 days of ivermectin, didn't review protocol to determine if second round is needed. Any input? Body dose. Can dose for yourself. But I would, on average, most people do another round. Because there's a set of eggs that are going to be there. And so that first batch gets the adults, and then the second, as those ones hatch, you want to grab them again and get rid of them that way. You could even do a third round. So again, body dosing will always tell you whether or not you need to do more, but I would recommend a second round for sure. Tammy says, severe headaches, any suggestions?
Hydration.
Yeah.
Also
Water.
your fascia. So no one talks about your fascia. Your fascia covers all your body, like all your muscles. But the fascia going up into the neck and into the head area. What you can do, I think I can grab it. There's Gasha stones that you can use where you can scrape it out. I'm a male, so I'm a little more crazy. I use something a little crazier, but this thing works. Let's go behind my neck and just scrape it out.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and even magnesium, my guides are saying, I've noticed that if I'm magnesium deficient, I'll start getting headaches. So I take magnesium and immediately that's a lot of times we need salt, we need magnesium, we need these minerals in our body.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Water was the first thing that popped in my head. And even though you may be drinking water, having a bit of Celtic salt helps to get it into the cells more. And so, and especially, up into the brain. So breath work as well, even though, right? So lie down and get really quiet if you're having some head problems and just go dark. In a way, it's your body also saying, I need a rest. It's time to shut it down. And so it's going to force you to rest. But when you're feeling better, some breath work will help. And there's certainly brain activation breath work that you can do that helps to bring more oxygen up into the brain. Lymphatic, fascia, absolutely. I scrape all the time. I have a metal thing at home and I go and see somebody that does acupressure, and that's what she's doing. She's moving the fascia and the meridians all the time. Yeah.
It's also, how much are you in front of a screen?
Yes, good point.
It really is, because your eyes have taken in so much. And then on top of that, depending on what is on the screen that you are watching, what you're doing is also an overload depending on what it is you're taking in. So I'm just pointing out reality as far as what some of this could be as a factor. I'm not saying that you are, it's just something to be aware of.
And it'll reprogram your subconscious mind too. So like you got to be careful. And if it was the days of Instagram and you have these women on Instagram, whatever, everyone's comparing themselves. But now it's like everyone's comparing themselves constantly to these video feeds that are looping. And it's not, my God's saying it's not a good thing. But I think it's by design. I'm going to be honest, a little rebellious. It's by design by the governments. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're so busy scrolling, you're not thinking about what's going on in the world, right? So it's distractions.
Yeah.
This is why we always recommend getting quiet, because it's up to you to stop the distractions. And even though it may be difficult. Tango, who is asking, what can I do for brain injury besides good diet and good water?
Well,
I'm
stop
hearing
sleep.
energy work is what I'm hearing.
You're hearing what?
Like energy work. As I'm looking at the hemispheres of his brain. You say you have a concussion or something? What do you say?
Yeah, he had a concussion.
Yeah, they're saying there's just okay. So I'm just gonna say it. There's
Yeah.
different hemispheres that aren't quite connecting. It's not all of it, but it's just there's different synapses in the brain that are not firing and connecting together is what I'm seeing. I don't know, CBD. I'm hearing CBD could help with this too. But energy work, I mean, a lot of times when people come see me, I'm tapping in and figuring out what the issues are that I need to correct. Scalar waves could hurt. That came out. So not scalar waves. I was going to say help, but I channeled hurt. So okay.
Yeah.
That's something I ran into yesterday. I was actually in an event with so many machines of scalar waves, and when I walked out, I was like, "What on earth?" I could feel them while I was in there. I was like, "I don't know," and I'm not disrespecting any of that, but I was like, "For me, this does not work." I was like, "I don't like this."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, magnesium glycinate is the one to take for the magnesium you take. Is that what you take, Thomas?
Yeah, I take it's a magnesium complex, but it's got every form of it in there.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, Tango, so we can chat more. We promised that we would jump on with you and have a conversation about this for sure. Cindy's asking, any suggestions for my kidneys?
She needs to do a flush. That's what they're
Ginger?
saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Kidney flush, ginger. So look up a kidney flush and body dose, which one resonates for you.
And just remember, like, when you're, because as like me and Tanya and Norma, we do energy work on people. We're psychics. We do a bunch of different things. But the thing is that we have to take care of ourselves. So we have to take care of our vessels as well. Because a lot of times we forget that because we're helping so many other people. But we have to take care of ourselves. So you've got to be loving to yourself. You've got to speak to yourself the correct way. It's one thing I noticed in the past couple months, and I think a lot of people resonate with this, is that a lot of things like people are talking themselves really negatively,
Yeah.
and your body's taking in that. I was with my friend last night, and I was like, just listening. I was like, oh my God, dude, could you just stop? Like, I wanted to say that because everything coming out of his mouth was negative. So I was like, man, like, what are you doing? And but that starts programming your reality and programming your subconscious, and then that starts sending out a signal to the outside world and what you're attracting back to you.
Yes, absolutely. And even for you, Tango, my brain is healing every day. Every day I'm feeling stronger. Every day I'm remembering more. Every day I'm getting more language back. Start speaking and claiming what you do want instead of what you don't want. That's really important. Yes, magnesium spray on the body is great because your skin is your biggest organ. Also, magnesium flakes in a bath are quite phenomenal. That's some baking soda and bentonite clay, some of my favorites. Body dosing. Yes, we can explain body dosing. I forget that sometimes we have new people. So thank you for making that comment. I'm actually just going to stand up very carefully. And so body dosing is standing really firm. And I tap my chest and I take a few deep breaths, and my legs are like tree trunks. I'm very strong. I'm tall. And then I'm going to ask, please show me a yes. And right away, my body pulls forward. Back to center. Thank you. Please show me a no. And I pull back. So, but everyone's a little different. So I highly recommend that you ask your body what is a yes and what is a no. And then you will get that feedback. Yeah, absolutely. And for the kidneys, somebody's just mentioning what they're taking. Hold on. Burdock root, dandelion root tea for cleansing liver, kidneys, and intestines. That's actually a good combo. Yes, I have done that combo. Yeah. The more you nurture and like put love into your water, this water is activating my brain. This water is cleaning my system out. Ask for what you want. Absolutely.
Command.
Command.
Forget about asking. Command.
Manifest. Command.
Yeah.
You're the one that's you're the one that's with the vessel. Is you. You can command these things, and the body must do what it's commanded to do. So that's the reason why it's important to understand your body, because your body's telling you all the time what it needs, what's going on, what situations are taking place. So, even with the asking, as T is, stated, if you understand to run your chakras, if you understand to do those moments where you have that connection of meditativeness, where, the body comes to the meeting place of the temple, where the higher self sits at the throne, waiting to understand how to provide you with the guidance and the tools to understand the body, which puts you in center. So it's vitally important to have that connection with self, because you are with self all the time.
Cranberry is good for the kidneys as well. Thank you, Norma. That was perfect. Yeah.
Let me jump on that what Norma said
Yes.
too. A lot of times people pray. So I'm more on Norma's side on this, is that I just command what I want. I don't know. It just seems more, my guides are saying ethical. I don't know why, but if I want this, I just command this to happen. Instead of asking, it's like the universe always listening to you. So source God's always listening. So it's like, what do you want? They say that to me all the time. Like, what do you want? So I just like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Sometimes they'll ask, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, let's do
it. Beautiful. And it's true. Absolutely. All right. JMS 55 had right side trauma to head, behind ear, 1996. Thought it was healed, yet with this intense energy incoming, I have experienced flashbacks of this incident. As Thomas taps into that, I'm just going to say, so everything is like in a spiral. And so you will be shown many situations, even if you felt you've healed it, but you're seeing it from a new perspective now. So maybe there's something else for you to learn there. So I'd be curious to know what is repeating, and is there something that you need to ask more questions about, Thomas?
I'm just going to try to heal it.
Okay.
That's what they're telling me to do. Just look at my finger. You're going to feel the back of your head start to heat up like that. Angels step in. Like that. They're working on like 5 people at once. Okay. And there we go. You're going to feel that heat start to radiate through the backside of your head. And they're on different parts on other people of their brain. And clear. There you
go. Awesome. So those of you with the brain issues, you should be feeling that. Make sure you drink lots of water and get a really good rest tonight. Allow your body to do what it needs to do. So when you have that incoming energy of extra, and remember, you can hear us and you can see us, although this computer is not connected to anything that I can see. We're not plugged into Wi-Fi, but it's connected. So just remember, this is how the energy works as well. Even though you may not understand it, you can receive it. And so those of you, I think you're feeling it, because I can feel it on my head right now. I've tried every natural remedy for high blood pressure, but my doctor keeps trying to get me on meds. I refuse. I have to see him as I am on SSDI. Any suggestions?
SSDI. SSDI, it's Social Security.
okay.
All high blood pressure is hypertension, which means with and I'm just coming at this from a medical standpoint, then moving into understanding what that significantly means for the body. Hypertension is what creates high blood pressure, and it's where the mind or the brain and its way of processing information, and even if whether we're aware of it or not, is that what the body's doing is doing what it's accustomed to doing. So if hypertension becomes something that you are experiencing a little later in life or at some point in your life, then what's showing up is the brain has created a synapses where in those thoughts, in the processing of the information, what it's doing is it's in a hypervigilant mode of processing, which causes the body to respond in a way where everything speeds up and we don't know why. And what it is that's where, as Thomas is speaking to, that's your subconscious that's in control, yet we're not aware of it. And it creates these situations within this vessel. And, of course, to go and find out what the issue may be, most doctors are not going to point out and tell you, oh, it's because, you have this blockage in this vessel or in this part of the vessel or anything else like that. They're just going to tell you, oh, it's just hypertension. It's because, too much salt, too much sugar, too much this, too much that. And I'm not saying that might not be the issue as well. But what is the underlying issue is the subconscious is got a part of the brain that is kicking in where the mechanism is in hyper mode, which is causing the body to be in a tension to that hyperness. So a lot of it has to do with understanding. It takes understanding to take breath work. It takes understanding of altering the process of what the brain is bringing forth for the body to be the response mechanism to what's taking place. So I speak to it from a level of understanding of being in the medical field, understanding it from a level of knowing the body and understanding that, do what you feel you need to do in order to assist in that process. But understand it begins with you to understand what may be taking place as you're being assisted so that you may understand how to do that for self without having to worry about going on, the medical, pills and things like that, which I get in respect that you don't want to invite something else into a body that already has what seems to be a presentable issue.
Beautiful. Do you want to add anything to that, Thomas?
I think she covered it beautifully.
Right. And the one that you went in that asked specifically for the healing, and then you worked on many, says right side heated up, a bit of pressure behind the ear, now tingle waves, much gratitude. And he says chilly bumps. Beautiful. Yeah. Makes sense, Norma. I am always tense. Exactly. All right. We've got a couple more people here, and then we're going to get things wrapped up. I know I get kidney stones, but I don't know that I've ever passed one, and it makes me think they are collecting in my bladder. What can we do to break down stones? Speak to
It's
it.
a thought.
Yeah.
Don't think that way. What you think becomes manifest. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? Because if you're not passing it, then what's happening is not happening. It's not creating. But it doesn't mean that your kidneys may not be responding to something which is giving you that feeling, or it's there could be a time that your kidney is what is it called? Now I'm wanting to go off somewhere. Crap, I can't think of it. Anyways, it feels like your kidney is spazzing. That's what I was looking for.
Spasming.
You can have slight spasmings in your kidney, because I have. And in that is understanding that is not because I may be passing a kidney stone. What my kidney is telling me is, okay, I'm malfunctioning a little bit because I'm lacking something. Or, and most of the time that's water. Most of the time that's things like ginger and cranberry and things like that, that will flush that system and keep it flush so that it continues to work properly. Okay.
I think a lot of times we give away our power. So person brought up Christianity, which I resonate with in some ways, always have. But still, it's just certain aspects of it. But the thing is that we give away our power to religions and doctors and other things, and we have to take that power back. What we tell ourselves, we start manifesting. If we think we have to go to a priest, if it's a Catholic church, if anyone's Catholic, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you have to go to communion, you have to do this. And whoever said there had to be an intermediate, like a person that's in between you and source or you and God.
Yeah, don't have a middleman. Michelle says, kidney, look at where you're unsupported in life and get the support you need. Yeah, there's a Louise Hayes, the list of everything energetically that's going on. So one can always tap into that. Beautiful. My sister is scheduled for hip replacement. Oh, today. No, for April. Okay, so in April. Anything she can do prior to her surgery to relieve pain. She has had all types of physical therapy and nothing has worked. So the surgery seems imminent.
Does
It
she
seems
sleep
like
with,
the support issue. Sorry, Norma, go ahead.
no, it's okay. No, I was just going to ask, when she sleeps and she sleeps on her side, does she sleep with a pillow that keeps her hip from
Collapsing.
yeah, does she keep her hip where it's supported? Okay, that will help with pain. And also it depends on what's the purpose and reason why she's having this hip replacement or this hip surgery. Is it because of, your things like osteo, or is it arthritis? Is it simple arthritis? Is it because there was a injury to it where it's starting to come through and show? Is it because there's tears or rips or damage to muscle tissue or ligaments that are causing that issue in that hip joint area?
What I'm getting is it's like foundational, in the mind.
Osteoarthritis.
A lot of times the simplest answers are usually the best, when it comes to a lot of things I've noticed. So, like, it's a support issue is what I keep hearing. It's like, is she supporting herself? I know that's going to be like a hard question to ask her. She's not going to really understand what I'm saying. But is she supporting her? Like, is there some aspect of her life that she feels very unsupported by? And therefore it's shown up in her body is what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm. And she visualized the
Yeah.
putting back. And it's also by choice to understand, by taking responsibility to understand that somehow, some way, that the cushioning that supports our hips, as it does each joint, wore away because of what Thomas was speaking to, that there may be lack of support somewhere. So in her body, that's where it showed up. But also to understand that she can make the choice to not even have that surgery because it's February now, and have her each day, every day, envisioning get a picture of the hip to see the cushioning that is meant to be there for the flexion of the joint, where it becomes what it was, by envisioning it becoming that again, to have that be something that holds a belief that I believe I can replace that quicker than having surgery. So I'm going to focus my intent on replacing and bringing back that cushion for that hip area, so that way I do away with the pain, and to visualize it as she sees it in that picture. You see, even Joe Dispenza even speaks to this, that if you put enough of a focus of your meditative attention to what it is that you are wanting to create, whatever it may be, it is doable. You just must have the belief of the focus of the intention of what it is that you are performing. And this body will do what it is that you can visualize it being and doing. See what happens if she's able to sit down and you can offer this. It's her choice. I'm just saying that she has the ability to replace it herself if she has the belief of self, of the intention of the thoughts that because thoughts are powerful, they manifest, and these elements will come together to create that manifestation. Because we're made up of elements.
I did it with my knee. So I had a major injury at a concert when I was like 21, and I didn't have health insurance, and I probably needed surgery. But when I was 34, it really got bad. It was like I went to a doctor. It's bone on bone. You need a knee replacement, and I was like, "There's another answer to this, and I know it." So I asked. I was like, "God, I need an answer." So I went to a massage therapist, and he goes, okay. And he's like, we need to work on this week by week. But what you're going to do, because I was in pain, I was in a lot of pain. And he's like, you're going to use magnesium oil, put an ounce of it in a lot of water in a foot bath. You just put 1 ounce with a lot of water. You're going to soak your feet in that. But then I sat there for 9 hours visualizing my knee healing. And when I probably fell asleep at some point in this 9-hour period, but when I woke up the next day, I didn't have any pain. And from there, I haven't really had any issues at all. I still do martial arts and all that. So it grew back.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Power of the mind. Mind over matter. Yeah, we get told of this so much. So Lou's asking for you, Thomas. My 13-year-old son has Tourette's and his tics are bad lately. Can you suggest anything, please, and thank you?
Ooh, okay. Interesting. There's a weird epidemic they're bringing up. It's on TikTok. This was years ago. But there are a lot. I don't know if this is encased with him. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. I have no idea. I'm just being told to. But there are a lot of people watching other videos of people with Tourette's, and they started developing it. Tourette's is usually associated with OCD. I have OCD, so I don't have Tourette's, but it's associated. They're saying look for the deeper meaning, which is not giving me the correct answer. But there's usually a basis of why it's happening. They're saying this can be healed.
Yeah.
This can be healed.
Yeah. Says he has autism and ADHD. So yeah.
Yeah,
Lou, I'm going to recommend that.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was getting he was super intelligent, and that's what. But I didn't know he had autism, so it makes sense. So I've worked with people that are autistic. Sometimes it's harder, obviously, depending on how well they can speak and all that. But at the same time, they can do things faster because they're more tapped in sometimes than a lot of people. But it's trying to understand what they're telling you.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say, Lou, I recommend booking with Thomas and doing a session for your son, a one-on-one. That's what I was told. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's a big one. Hello, Arlene. Doing the talking to the arm, loving it, releasing the pain, manifesting it, everything suggestion possible, hot, cold treatments. Since the physical therapist last week, you helped me. The pain has continued relentlessly. It has to be something else. Maybe I'm not being treated or the treatment is affecting it worse. So she had a stroke and went in for a treatment to check on her heart, and they put a fluid in her, and then yeah, she's lost her use of her arm.
My real answer, being direct, I think it's the fluid. It's affected it. They give you, I mean, pharmaceuticals have their place, but at the same time, it's and my throat chakra is closing down. So I think too, when I'm reading her words, I'm looking at the patterning, like it's making it worse. I'm always looking at patterns. So it's making it worse. It's also how and I know she doesn't want to hear this, I'm hearing, but it's looking at how you're talking to yourself too. There's an answer to this. That's the biggest thing. So if you were to, however you see God, source, whatever, universe, just ask for an answer. Because they're saying you're worrying way too much, which I understand. You're in agonizing pain, I'm hearing. But still, ask for an answer to be revealed to you. It's one thing I say which throws people off. There's a million ways it's going to there's a million ways to solve a problem. So you look at it and go, okay, put into my awareness somebody that can help me with this or something. And then from there, you may really be surprised by what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So Arlene, I hope you're hearing this and hearing it in the right way. Your focus still on the pain. Your focus is still on the pain and giving the pain the most attention.
Yeah.
And so tap inward and ask for a sign. Yeah. What else will work for me? Yeah. And we'll speak more to it when we connect. I've got somebody over on Rumble. This is the last one, guys, because we're running a little over here. My wife has OCD and torments herself with guilt because of the thoughts that come into her head. Any suggestions on how I can help her? This has been ongoing her whole life. Did you catch the previous portion where we were talking about the subconscious programming and how to reprogram your subconscious? So she's going to want to reprogram her subconscious. Anything to add to that, Thomas?
Yeah, because I'm kind of an expert on OCD. So I have it. Lucinda Bassett. It's Lucinda Bassett. She helped me a lot when I was 19. You can find her books. She may have passed by now, but she's got loads of information. She cured herself of agoraphobia.
Say the name again.
Lucinda Bassett, Bassett, I believe. If you look up OCD and Lucinda Bassett, if you just say that in your phone on Amazon, it's going to pop up somewhere, YouTube.
Perfect. I just typed it there for them.
Yeah. She cured herself of agoraphobia. She could not even leave her house.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So Arlene says she's hearing castor oil. Like, we'll keep working on it. And I think something, again, expressing yourself and bringing joy in. So shifting your energy. Instead of focusing on that pain, what can I do right now to bring me a bit of joy? What can I do right now to bring me joy? You're not having any fun. You're focused on everything that's wrong. So try and find something that you can focus on that's actually fun and joyful for you.
Yeah.
We've worked with her for a few weeks. Any suggestions for withdrawal from antidepressants? This has come up a couple times today too.
You got to suffer through it a little bit. I know that's like not what you want to hear, but I've done it myself. I'm just saying there's light on the other side of this. And it's not so much suffer through it, but go through it. Because your body knows it doesn't need the antidepressants, I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why you're doing this. But you got to go through the process. It's not always easy. I know. I was on a bunch of antidepressants as a kid. I had to withdraw from them.
Yeah. Redirecting yourself, right? Go find, again, for you too. So if you want to alchemize something, it's being able to go through it and find a way that works for you to process it. It may be art. It may be writing it out and burning it. It may be cooking, anything, painting, anything to shift and bring like something that brings you joy to move you out of that space. So every time it goes to the negative, what you don't want, turn around and like put your energy towards what you do want. You will alchemize through that energetically. And I hope that helps. Norma Jean?
Yeah. It's about as basic as that, because when we introduce something into the body and it has those chemicals that are in there that we may not be aware of, which a lot of it is that they're chemicals that begin to take the vessel and utilize it as a way to
There's like a little bird right above us here. Go ahead.
That we don't know that's being introduced into our body, and sometimes those are those hidden pieces that create the whole of the medicine that you're taking. And a lot of times, a lot of us, as we were taking these pills, especially antidepressants, they have what is called an addictive element to them, but it's addictive for the body. I'm not going to say that there haven't been ones that have not possibly assisted with the imbalances of the mind. But here's the thing. To understand the brain is to understand the cosmos, because your brain is the exact replica of a cosmos, because we have those sections of our brain that when we look at it and relate it to the cosmos, and we understand that we're tapping into specific areas of the brain. And when we're not utilizing those parts of the brain, then that's where the chemical imbalances come in. So the chemical imbalances are created basically from not utilizing or understanding how to tap into that part of the brain for the mind to utilize it, so that it is something that is used properly in its form, in what it was created to do. So that's where, when you come to understand what causes depression, is first the negative thoughts, which brings on the situation where that depression depresses that part of the brain, which causes that brain to quit secreting that
Dopamine,
well,
serotonin.
no, it's many things,
Right, all
many
the-
things, right?
Yeah.
So whenever one of those chemical imbalances happen within the brain, then what happens is it quits producing it, which means we're not utilizing that part of the mind or the brain in the functionality it's meant to be utilized with, which in turn depresses even more the vessel, because then that brings on basically what causes is a domino effect.
Imbalance.
Right.
And once there's one imbalance, it affects another imbalance and affects another.
Right.
So
So it's a
coming
domino
back to
effect.
wholeness, coming back
Right.
to center again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well done.
there's so much to this.
Right. Yeah. Thomas, people want to reach out to you. What's the best way to find you?
ThomasSawyer.com is my website. I have a class yet tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, Journey to the Akashic Records. And then next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I have emotional healing class. But I do sessions through there. I'm on Facebook, Thomas Sawyer, TikTok, ThomasSawyer.com_3.0. I'm not using my main profile because TikTok's all crazy. And yeah, so just ThomasSawyer.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And
You can send me a
always
message anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So send me a message.
I kicked your website out for everyone, and we'll make sure it's under the show notes as well. And we look forward to having you again. And if everyone can like and share this video, that would be amazing. Remember, and comment afterwards. We're playing this algorithm game. And if Thomas has helped you or we've helped you, we're going to be requesting reviews. It would be amazing to have some reviews get out there so that, we can start growing and supporting. And make sure that you check out adventuresforconnection.com. You can book private sessions with me, private sessions with Norma. We're working on some courses right now that you'll be able to do online and then have weekly meetings. So we've got a lot on the go right now. So stay tuned. And we're just sending you all lots and lots of love. Yeah, we're here for you. We wouldn't be here without you. So absolutely. And Shelly says, Thomas, I've had several sessions with him. He is awesome. Thank you, Shelly. It's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. And we're all in this together. We're all having this adventure game here on Earth. So choose your teammates wisely and choose yourself, and to love yourself wisely. Only you can shift you. We can do energy work on you, and then a week later, you're going to be right back where you were because you're still in the same frequency you were. You have to change. You have to choose change. You have to choose you. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's about understanding that at this level, if you're wanting to understand the solutions to the present issues that is taking place, we must understand. And I had to start taking responsibility for everything about myself, my pains, my insecurities, my misunderstandings, and begin to replace that by taking and making the decision. Like I said, I was given a foundation when I came in, and it wasn't very sturdy. Now that I understand that at some point I had to begin to create that for myself, which meant I had to start taking responsibility for everything that I was choosing for myself, whether that was to gather information, to understand more about what the body was and its functionality, to understand my role and responsibility for my actions, deeds, and thoughts and words, all that. And all we're here to do is to help you understand what guidance and tools we can provide you with in order to do that. And if there's anything that you may feel you need more in-depthness or understanding, as like T says, reach out to any of us, because we can't speak to all this in 1 hour.
Yeah, a lot of things can't be resolved quite that quickly.
Right.
It's important because we're actually helping reprogram the subconscious at the same time. And that takes a little practice. Thomas, any final words?
I think we got it covered. I think we're good.
Woo!
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Sending you all lots of love. All right. Have a fantastic night, everyone. And remember, we're back on Tuesday.